the Disney version of The Incredibles.
We have a little time traveling device. You can have a look at it. You look after it.
I will look after it.
Gatekeeper.
I think a lot of people don't realise that we were put into a house.
Yeah.
And we were protected. That we weren't allowed to be told anything that was going on in the real world. I think we would be okay for this.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because honestly, people like us are watching and think you're just going to do that filming, and like Coronation Street, those sort of places, they have the scene set up there, don't they?
In the middle of Spark Brook.
Yeah.
That is our shop with our name.
So it's the same house you were staying in, and then they quickly changed it.
They did,
So that we were living behind it.
Welcome to the Dav Ubhi Show, where stories come alive. This is a place where untold stories finally get heard. I'm Dav Ubhi, bringing you incredible guests with experiences that inspire, entertain, and uplift. Expect deep conversation, big laughs, and eye-opening moments you won't find anywhere else. This isn't just a chat show, it's a journey into the heart of real stories. Get ready for the magic. Thank you so much for coming on to the Dav Ubhi Show. You don't know how much it means to me and all the audience. And please just quickly introduce yourself again.
I'm Akash.
And you're the son.
And I'm the son, yeah.
And
I'm Manisha. I'm the mum.
you're the mum.
I'm Alicia and I'm the daughter.
And
I'm Vishal.
thank you so much. You know what? Every time I see you guys, especially when I saw your documentary, you remind me of the Disney version of The Incredibles. I mean, Incredibles with the superpowers, the mum, dad. Was it a son and a daughter? No.
Incredible.
No, honestly, I think we have our own Asian version of The Incredibles, the Disney version. So it's a big thing. Don't you agree? So anyway, these superpowers you have, obviously you sort of time travel back in the days. So do you do this mentally, or do you have this like a very special gadget or something?
It's a secret gadget.
Do you have a special gadget?
I do, yes. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'd have to kill you if I gave it to you.
Really? Yeah. Oh my goodness, and we can't do the show then, can we?
We have a little time traveling device.
Really?
To go backwards and forwards.
Okay. Do you have it on you all the time?
I have to, yeah. But in case somebody accidentally leaves us here in this present and we can't go back. So I keep it with me.
Okay. So it seems like Dad's in control of the remote, isn't he?
Yes, always.
Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper. Okay, what I'd like to know, how did you get this opportunity of doing this documentary? How did it all come about?
It was a BBC Two programme.
Okay.
And Back in Time is a programme that they've had for different things, like the corner shop, and they've gone back in time to look at the Windrush story.
Okay.
You know, when people came to Brixton.
Yeah.
And so I'm a fan of it because it's a fun way of learning history.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to sit and learn and read from a book. So I've always watched the TV programme.
Yeah.
And then a friend sent a WhatsApp, and she said it was looking for a British Asian family. You know, do you live in Birmingham? Do you know daytime gigs in the 90s? And I'm going, yes. And I'm like, oh. And I just happened to have my laptop there as I was reading the text. Started to fill out the application form before I knew it. I'd already done it. He walked through the room and I said, I'm just filling in this form. Come and have a look. I think we would be okay for this. And he just ignored me. I submitted it and didn't honestly think anything else. And the next thing you know, we were getting a call back from the BBC.
Really?
Oh, what have I done?
And by the way, that's when me and Alicia were talking about this experience.
BBC are coming to our house to interview us for a TV show. We were like, what?
Really? Do you think you would have been? Are you ready for it?
No.
I wasn't ready. None of us were ready. I never expected that we would even be chosen. It was just, we ticked the box. I liked the show, and it just so happened that I
Yeah.
Yeah.
family
Well,
history is like,
you feel this in Nepal, so your mind doesn't make sense of it. You can't comprehend it, but something was telling you meant to do this. And you, as a family, your superpower family, were there to inspire so many people, and you did. And looked like, as I was watching the episodes, like you're having a lot of fun.
we did.
It wasn't look like you were heavy with the yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a case of we stopped phone calls saying we're chosen. They had to go through quite a interview each of us individually, make sure that we're not potty mouthed, or we're very balanced people, and also from a psychological perspective as well, because obviously it goes out to everywhere. We'll make sure that we're protected as well. So they did a lot of checks, so they're very, very good at making sure that they had our interests at heart. And then we got a phone call saying you've been chosen. That's when we fainted. Oh my god!
What would have happened if one of you didn't want to do this? Let's say Akash, you said, "No, I can't do this."
I think I wouldn't have had a choice. I was either
You're not
going
gonna-
in time or was it going into the future? One or the other.
So you're okay. And what about yourself?
I think we were up for a new experience.
Yeah.
Just experienced the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was very much a time of life's too short, why not
Yeah.
let's just do it. So
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer really for us.
Yeah, you did mention earlier on you were doing this during COVID times, all those.
The whole process, we were interviewed
Yeah.
during COVID via Zoom,
Yeah.
and all of us were interviewed individually
Okay.
and then collectively via Zoom.
Right.
And
Then I think they all made us take tests, and they took tests, and they came to house to film us again.
Yeah.
How we interacted with each other and stuff, and then so it was all under proper
Yeah.
conditions. It was really weird. I mean, we look back now and think, oh, did we ever have that time?
Yeah.
But it was at that time. It was like really surreal, wasn't it?
Mm.
But they were really good.
But when you're watching the documentary, you can't even tell that this pandemic was going on at all, could you? Obviously, you're going back in the 50s, 70s, that didn't exist, but they filmed it so well. I'm sure you took a lot of precautions yourself. You probably had to be really careful being too close to the staff and everybody
There was
else.
a lot of regulations in place. We had to have daily tests.
And not so much as a family.
Yeah.
The staff had to do a test before they came. So the
Really?
regulations were around all of them, and distancing and protecting us as a family, because we were the ones living in the house,
Yeah.
and we needed to be safe.
Exactly.
But even
Yes.
though there was like little nuances, you think when you go onto a TV show, you'd have your own makeup artist. We didn't have our own makeup artist. We had to do all our makeup ourselves.
So it's because of all that
Not
going
so much
on.
for me and Akash makes it not much to do, right?
You don't know.
I think for you guys, obviously having to do different looks for the 50s.
Yeah, I noticed that. The eye makeup, the slick look. Yeah.
Thank goodness for Alicia.
we had to do that all ourselves and time saris and
Yeah.
but I think a lot of people don't realise that we were put into a house and we were protected, but we weren't allowed to be told anything that was going on in the real world.
Yeah.
No one could put on the radio or show us anything. We had our phones taken from us, so we were in
Really?
a very protected environment that made us feel like we were living in the time.
Well, I think a lot of people didn't realise we actually lived in the house. People thought, oh, we visited the set and then...
You're actually living in the house?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that. I thought you were just going to do the filming then and just leave.
So
Okay.
That mattress, that was our bed.
Really?
Kitchen was our kitchen. So for 8 days, we were literally in this 50s bubble or this 70s bubble, and we only ate and drank the food of that time. So it was, if it's dark draw, that's all we had for the whole week.
Really? I
We
mean,
weren't allowed to go in the evening to Popeyes or McDonald's. No, it was exactly that.
oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because honestly, people like us are watching, you think you're just going to do that filming, and like Coronation Street, those sort of places, they have the scene set up there, don't they? That's really interesting. That really took you back in time then, especially for both of you. Yeah.
A lot of people who actually weren't a family. They thought we were like actors.
Okay.
I went to events and somebody said, oh, have you brought those 2 kids? Have they come as well? I'm like, they were our kids. Oh, right, but you're so... We go like twins because of a height difference. But,
Well, I like to call it.
So anyway, can I have that remote you have, that special remote? Is it okay? I can just borrow it. Can I just have a look at it? Because I wouldn't mind, because I think I might need to use it now. I think we need to go back in time because I want to
As
go.
long as we can go with
I want to experience what you guys went through.
Yeah, you can have a look at it. You look after it.
I will look after it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at him. It's very massive attachment to the remote. Okay, so we're going to go through some of the episodes and just want you to tell me a little bit what you're going through each of those pictures I'm going to put up. So let's go to the first one. So this is the first picture. This is actually in the early 50s when the early pioneers actually arrived in UK and laid the foundations for the future generations to come. I remember you actually mentioning that in the documentary. And is that really you?
That is, yeah, I had
And more hair then.
slightly more hair. Yeah. So that was actually a whistle factory, and it's one of the oldest factories in the whole of the UK in Birmingham.
Yeah.
The factory's been around for over 100 years.
Yeah.
And they still today in 2020 make whistles that go globally. So
Yeah.
some of the machinery they have is from the traditional. They have a museum there as well, and I think the owner's like third or fourth generation.
Really?
So it was really, really insightful.
Because it's very odd for me to see you like that, because I never see you work so hard. I've always seen you messing around. I've always seen you playing around, joking around. And you made 70,000 whistles in a week, or was it a day? A day, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's what they used to do there, yeah. I mean, we only went there for the filming, and we did so much of the work that they did.
Yeah.
But it was to almost recreate what our forefathers would have done who were working there. But they would have worked 180 hours a week and day in, day out. That's just to see. I mean, I still had good conditions, but I can imagine back in the 50s, the conditions weren't there wasn't air conditioning or ventilation.
Yeah.
You turn up, clock in, and then you're literally doing work.
It's just you feel like you're like a human robot, aren't you? Yeah. And then the whistles, then obviously that was the most important thing because they had whistles for the army, I suppose. Everything from who else? The police, factories, teachers, and so obviously I can't imagine them using whistles now. Would you use whistles now? I don't think so. Really?
Whistles that go around the world.
Really?
Sheepdogs. Again, a lot of countries use them. Even in India, you think the police, they have whistles, so they're still running, still a massive firm.
Wow.
Producing whistles that go around the world.
Yes, and then also talking about you working double shifts, and for the ladies, you're working, says probably a whole week as you're doing sewing, isn't it? That's what the ladies were doing, machinists, yeah. And you're only getting £4 for working 6.5 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, it was just for us to experience how those women would generate an income working from home.
Yeah.
Sewing buttons on shirts for big companies, and we'd that was our contribution, wasn't it, to the home and to paying for the bills or paying for whatever needed to be paid for. The men would go out somewhere, but then at the same time we were still responsible for all the keeping the house clean, cooking the food.
So you got that as well as working
and then doing
machinist.
Everything else.
I think it was the mindset, to be honest. I mean, a lot of the reasons our parents or our grandparents' generation came here was to send money back home. Yes, it was. I think some came temporarily just to make enough money and then earn enough to go back. But it was around us living very basic, but trying to support our families back home. And I can imagine I was one of a million stories of people who made sure they did pretty much on the breadline, but they made sure everything was available to send back to get their families established or their siblings married. And we have stories all the time out there that how much money was sent back to make their lives better.
Their lives better. But I think that generation was the most bravest, courageous generation to do something like that. And we don't realise, we don't appreciate it until we watch the documentary, and absolutely blown away with it. I can't believe that we are where we are today is because of them. Alicia, I was so when the TV came home, I was so happy to see you so happy. And remember you saying in there, oh, we have to stop looking at each other's faces now. I've got a TV and you're hugging it.
Yeah. I mean,
That was...
you can imagine we've been in a house for around 2 weeks at this point where we are living in this house. We have no technology.
Yeah.
We have the entertainment of the time, which was playing cards,
Yeah.
books.
Staring at a wall.
Literally, we had nothing. We just had to talk to each other, and then cameras following us everywhere. And then suddenly they wheel this TV in,
And you went and
and
hugged
it.
it.
Was so exciting because it did work,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh, we have something to do now. We were going a bit crazy, weren't we, in the house? So yeah, that reaction was genuine. It's so nice to see a bit of technology.
No, I just love that scene in there. And I was thinking the way you went hugging the TV, but the popular program was there, which it was called Make Yourself at Home. Apna, was it called Apna Gar Sanjia? Is that what was the program called? Apna Gar Sanjia, something like that. So it was a program to really help all the immigrants to understand basic things like this is a light and you switch it on like this, and this is a kettle. Yeah, so I could see your reactions when you were watching that program, because you're thinking, what? Explaining like you're talking to a little 2-year-old. And it is sometimes feels a bit strange.
There's such an influx in the 70s of Asians from Africa, India that came. They realised, yes, great for labour, but to help them integrate,
Yeah.
they needed something to just educate them a bit. Basics, like I said, how to switch on a light, how to pass the bus to someone.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
A lot of these people just wander around trying to find someone to help them.
Yeah.
So it was very brave of institutions like the BBC to put those very good programmes on to help people understand.
Yeah. I can't believe that they even took that step to come into this country without even knowing the language. How you managed to survive, it's a brave thing to do.
So many, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a picture in one of the episodes of my mum at the airport when she arrived in early 73. And I think it was February 73. She turned into this really thin silk sari, never had seen snow, and one jumper, that was it.
Yeah.
In the middle of February, can you imagine? It's one of the coldest winters. And I remember telling the story saying, I stepped outside the airport and it was like, oh my God, where am I?
Oh my. I know.
It wasn't like there was a motorway. It was
Yeah.
A roads from Heathrow all the way back to Smedley.
That's it.
Journey. So
Yeah.
I think it was a bit of a big reality shock, wasn't it?
It is. It's a big shock. I remember when I came to these countries and Choti DCG, because we came from Africa and Kenya, I didn't know what a coat was until I came to this country. And I thought, what is a coat? What is putting on me? And it is a big, honestly, it's a shock to your system. Alicia. actually, they're not bad looking.
They're actually married.
Oh, they're married. So you're receiving photos of your potential, life partners. This is arranged marriages. So this is still in the 50s, 60s, isn't it? So at that time, you obviously, we trusted our parents. They know what they're doing for us. But now, we youngsters, we dictate, don't we? We parents, we know what we need. And it's changed so much.
Definitely.
So, but actually, this still not bad. Looks like some sort of a Bollywood actor, don't you think? If you had to choose one of those, who would it have been? Seriously.
I mean, off camera, they actually showed me
Yeah.
pictures of these same men from different angles.
Okay.
And the ones that look the most attractive in these photos are actually the least attractive. So that was quite a funny thing to have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so, you can't imagine it now of, looking at a picture and view biometrics, and that's all you've got to
That's
go on
right.
with someone that you end up spending probably the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
Because they are in another country and they're going to come over here. We just couldn't imagine it, could we? But that was the reality for so many people.
And even as the mother,
Yeah.
like, you didn't really have much of a say because these are the pictures that are being sent to you
Yeah.
from the family.
That's right. Yeah.
Saying, actually, these are the people that we think, choose one out of them.
Yeah.
So even I'm sitting there going, I don't think so. I was getting quite emotional.
I know there was a scene that you were getting emotional. I saw you. It was the last episode when you had to buy your lenga. Lenga. You went to lenga shopping, and you actually started tearing up. And
And he didn't stop me, dear me.
yeah. But it's interesting because at that time we had full faith and trust in the Bacholis, didn't we? We knew what they we're thinking they're the best interest of us. So we trusted them and we used to go along with it. And at that time, obviously, we would really work hard at making the marriages work. And I remember I used to say to my mom and dad, and I said, but what does that love thing come into it? Oh, no, a love thing, get married up here, and that naturally comes once you get married. But this is how we were brought up to think, but it's interesting that I actually saw you, and you looked quite surprised in the actual documentary, what am I supposed to do? But then obviously your mom was in there, and there's the lady who was sitting next to you saying, look, have a think about it.
Yeah.
So that was
a lot of big feelings that came up there. I think especially being so young when we filmed this, I think I was 20.
Yeah.
But actually, that was probably an average age to get married around then as well.
Yeah.
Me at 24 now, still not really like people my age now are not thinking about marriage.
No. It's changed so much dramatically. Like I said, we know. We dictate to our families and our parents that we know exactly what we need and what we don't want. So it's good in a way. It takes the pressure off us. I mean, I'm all for it. But at the same time, at that time, because we're new in the country, we don't really know anyone. So the patrol is we're totally dependent on them. And we just went along with it. And but that was interesting. So the bit I wanted to mention was about Manisha. You said that you struggled in the 50s, 60s with the kitchen. It's the kitchen that really got to you.
The kitchen really got to me. It was really, really basic. The cooker, okay, with the matches, that's fine. Gas cooker. But the pots and pans, everything stuck to everything. The washing up was so hard, everything was cold.
Yeah.
I had to boil the kettle to get warm water, hand washing the clothes. And we had to do all of these things ourselves. And you're doing it all in a sari, which you're not used to doing.
Yeah.
Normally now, you wear a sari or a suit when you're going to a party or a wedding for that or an occasion.
Yeah.
But to wear it 24/7, I had a greater appreciation for my mother, who always wore a sari.
Yeah.
And it just got really hard, didn't it?
Yeah, I did see you struggling, that you were totally unhappy about the kitchen, the setup, and I don't know where we came from.
Normally you put everything in the grinder.
Yeah. Do you think you struggled because obviously we've been spoiled now, everything's so easy for us? Okay, let's say you actually were in the 1950s and you came from India, you just accepted it. You probably wouldn't have struggled as much if it happened in reality.
Well, the thing is, you still didn't have any of the spices, so even if you were trying to make a nice, delicious meal for your family, it was really hard because there weren't many spices.
Mm-hmm.
You tried to use a lot of pepper to get the spice.
Okay, so this is the fun bit. This is what you're saying. Baar kapde dhone, thand vich.
It was actually cold, and
look what you got your cardigan on. Alicia, look at you.
Hold up our saris and funny.
Obviously, you didn't have the kettle. I suppose you have to heat up the pani separately and go, the it or whatever. And then you pour it in and then bring it outside. And imagine the winter time. I mean, that looks really cold anyway from there. I've got another one here. Look at this one. Alicia washing away.
You won't see much of that in the
Honestly, look at the way you've done your makeup and your hair. You're really playing the part there, like a real typical desi kudi, comes straight from the pind into Birmingham. It's amazing.
It's all credit to the fashion director who actually chosen all of the clothes. So just for the record, those are not our everyday clothes, and we don't have anything like that in the wardrobe now.
Yeah.
They were all chosen for us, and we were told what to wear, when to wear it. So all of the accessories. And
it looks really realistic,
So before each film, we had to go and do a clothes fitting.
Yeah.
So every single day the outfits were measured up, laid out, altered. Even the accessories such as rings, watches, everything was appropriated to that time period, and to make sure they had the looks and everything all done. So it's quite well done.
So when you were staying in this house, how long did you stay in this house when you were doing the
So
recording?
the whole shooting was 4 weeks, and each episode was 8 days. So we'd start on a Monday morning and all the way through to the following Monday. Then we go home for 2 days. I mean, there's one of those 2 days we have to go back for clothes fitting for the next episode,
Okay.
and then move back in again for another.
So when you were staying there, we dressed like this throughout the week?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. It's incredible. That's amazing. So you didn't have your nightie or anything, or did you get change any of your normal clothes
From home.
so you could wear that?
Yeah, but the days were so long. It was like big.
So you didn't have electric toothbrush. You didn't have electric toothbrush, did you? You didn't cheat anyway. You didn't take your laptop or your
Literally, before we had to put all our phones in like
everything.
a box, and then they gave us one emergency phone, which is like a Nokia, just in case something happened, right? But yeah, they took away all gadgets. We didn't have any access to the real world.
Oh gosh! Wow, that's amazing. I had to show that. So the next one's really good. Oh, look who's that! That's your bed, and that's a bed, same bed that other 10 people share.
Yeah, I think that was the first time I'd never heard of the term hot bedding ever. And we never realised that back in the 50s, 60s, they would be, as you said, 6, 7, 8 people sharing that same one mattress and shifting at night time, and then the next 6 people, because they were going night shift. That was mind blowing for me to think.
This is Akash is saying, do I really the look on your face, like, am I going to share the bed with Dad? I'm not going to share the bed with Dad. But this is probably where that nursery rhyme came from. 10 in a bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over. You're the little one, roll over.
Then like Akash and Dad, this is their like first day of filming.
Yeah.
We weren't there that first night, so that first night they spent together, sleeping top to toe in that bed.
Really?
And Mum and I came the next day, and they were like, "Guys, this is not what you think it is. We've just had to sleep on a mattress on the floor, and it was cold, and it was."
Like Shangri-La.
Yeah. So imagine. This first day is the 1950.
Yeah.
1950, they've arrived. And normally men arrived first.
That's right, yeah.
From any other country. They came first to try and settle. So when we arrived the following day, actually it was 1955. It was 5 years later.
5 years.
That we have then arrived to come and join our family.
Yeah.
We're excited because we haven't seen them in so many years.
Yeah.
And we come to this.
It's shocking.
And that was before it's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So are we sort of like, would there be other guys there as well, other men there? Or is it just for your... No, but if it had to go back in 1950s, there would have been other men there.
There would have been, so I think the way it tended to work was for the first 4 or 5 years, it would be as many men as possible sharing one house.
Yeah.
Then as they made a bit more money, they may be able to rent a room for themselves and their partner.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the house might still have 8, 9 men in it. So it's just surreal. You can't even imagine it when you think about it.
I know.
You know?
So what was it like?
Us topping the tailing.
So was it like sleeping with Dad then?
I mean, luckily I'm a heavy sleeper, so I just went to bed. But,
What was your conversation? Can you remember what your conversation was
I mean,
about?
you just sort of sat there, just looking up at the ceiling. I mean, my legs hit the wall. It was my legs were too long. And I've got Dad next to me. And then you're just sort of just like reflecting. You're just coming to this experience as well, first day.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh God, this is going to be a long 8 days.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
What I'm saying is, Dad, what we signed up to.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? I have to say, you look very smart, both of you. Very smart.
Yeah,
And
having to shave my beard.
That was a fight, wasn't it?
Was
Making
a
him
fight.
shave his beard for this 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
That was it then back then. If you think back, even now you look at a lot of our Brazil, elderly, that in the 70s, 80s now, we're still so immaculately dressed.
yeah.
You know, no matter whether they're coming down for breakfast, lunch, dinner, all the way back to the 1950s, they were very, very well
Well dressed and
very well dressed, yeah.
well groomed, yeah.
Well groomed,
Yeah.
that was the word.
So would they have bought these suits from back home? And then you travel in these, don't you? Or you would have purchased them here?
I don't know how it works, but I think they would have had them from back home.
Yeah, I think so. It's obviously look very smart. You actually look like actors from a Bollywood movie.
Especially that's me, to be fair.
I'm ready to snort you.
Okay.
I reckon it.
Yeah, I just can't believe it. I just the thought of who would change the bed sheets? Who would be doing that? Who would be washing
So
them?
they would do that maybe once a week, or because it's cold.
Yeah,
So to dry them is very difficult as well. You have to put it in the garden
yeah.
and wash it in cold water, or in that bucket like you just saw. So when we were asking that question, it was still once a week kind of.
Once a week, and then all those other men sharing the bed. Obviously,
And there was one towards the end of episode 1, we had 2 actual gentlemen from the area who were from that era.
Yeah.
Who spoke about when they first came. They partook in top bedding, and they told stories of they would come back middle of the night, the bed was half full of urine because somebody just accidents happen, but they would just find a little corner to go to sleep because they were so exhausted. You can't even imagine that now, but this is a sacrifice they made.
yeah. I didn't think men were being too hygienic, are they? As much as women, and they'll just leave the mess and think no big deal about it.
Came as young boys, really, 16
Yeah.
years old. You're scared in a new country. You're missing home, and
Yeah.
the trauma is happening in real time, isn't it?
And then you're working all day, leaving really early, coming home late. Last thing you want to think about is changing the bed sheets.
Yeah.
Gosh. Oh my God, you went through. It's amazing. So just change the topic a little bit. 1968, the Race Relations Act was passed. And when I actually watched that on there, I can't believe how lucky we are now. So the discrimination you had to deal with, it must have been horrendous. And the bit in there, they were saying that before the act was passed, even if you smelt of curry or something, they'd said you can go back home, pack your bags and go back home. And I was really shocked when I saw that. It is scary.
I think that reminds me of, and it makes me understand why, like even with my parents and stuff, and maybe with uncles and that, I've noticed, is they would be very conscious of the smell of darka.
Yeah.
So, when they do it, they
still do
make
it.
sure that, it's very limited, very quickly done quickly, or they make sure they at least change their clothes. So they'll have the darka clothes.
Gosh.
And then change before they go out anywhere, so they don't smell of darka. Because they wouldn't want to be called names or stand out in any way, and just.
Can you imagine how fearful they've been living? So it's really heavily in their mind, and obviously in the behaviour now. It's just playing out automatically. So that's where you guys, obviously the question is now for both with Akash and Alicia. Now you both know what life was like back in those days. You must appreciate your grandparents or see them in a different light now.
No, 100%. I mean, when we saw them for the first time, when they came to the house, I mean, we both just gave them a hug. We were like, thank you. We understand what you went through. And yeah, it's quite, you realise how easy we've got it now. And it's like.
So easy.
Yeah, it makes you reflect, and it's like you wanna work even harder because you go through an experience like that. You see what actual hard work looks like in a real
actual hard work, yeah.
And then you sort of I took that back into reality, and I said, yeah, this makes me determined. I want to work harder and sort of like give back to the older generation and continue that sort of legacy.
Do you know anyone like in your circle of friends or family that would need to experience what you did just to really them to appreciate life and their families? Everyone should.
I don't think it's just even for the young generation. We never really had as deep an appreciation, did we? Of how hard it was. And I think for our parents, they don't want to burden you never want to burden your child with how hard things were. They just got on with it.
That's right.
So
yes.
they never talked about those hard times necessarily.
There's so much trauma of that generation.
Yeah.
Our parents and that came over. There's so much that they endured from this bit to the race. So much which they don't talk about because they don't want us to have to hear it.
Yeah.
But it was there. Absolutely was there, and and it does. You see in small little things, and we never understood small things like we never go dingy Lanny. A second. Why? Because we're worried that if you got a new car, so we'll break it.
Yeah.
Come smash it.
That's right.
Yeah. Or the suit wearing, because of them wearing a suit and that represented that you were of high standing, you were cultured, you were a well educated person. So, go and see in the bank manager, you have to wear a suit.
Wow.
We wouldn't think twice, though.
No, exactly,
All these things, I think, have filtered down into their behaviours and certain things and habits that they're saying, do you know?
Yeah. We're going to go back in time to the 80s and 90s, so be with you shortly. Welcome back to the Dav Ubhi Show, where real stories come alive. And I have with me my special guest, the Sharmas. How are you all? Are you keeping okay so far?
I'm fine.
I've still got your remote. I will give back to you.
I'm still here, so it's fine. I haven't faded yet.
So earlier on we were talking about the 50s till the 60s, and now we're going to go into the 70s and 80s. I'm just going to get this phone and show you some clips from the 70s and 80s, and it's... Oh wow, the kitchen. Now you must be a little bit happier now, Manisha.
There's a sink, the sink as well.
Love the orange.
And look, we were so excited. A bit of colour. The other one was so drab.
Yes.
It just felt like a new life in there. So yeah.
It does. I actually do like the colour. I mean, even now that would be something in IKEA. Even though it's in the 70s, it would have some sort of contemporary sort of mod, retro sort of look in there. But I do like it. And compared to obviously the other one, that did look dreary and dark and gloomy, and it looked really damp as well.
Well, our drainage was a bucket.
Yeah.
There was no pipes outside. The tap would open and water and it would just go into a bucket, so all your rubbish was just a bucket.
Really?
That's that proper drainage in the sink.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the cooker, you've got the sink. Obviously, you won't have the washing machine or any of that, would you, there? So would you be doing the washing now? It's still at home, isn't it? Just hand wash? The laundry? Yeah. But no, it's nice. It looks massive difference from 10 years before that, 10, 15 years before that. And that was really good. So, and there was a scene in there, both of you were making gulab jamuns from a packet.
That was a funny experience, wasn't it? It was so scary. Because they gave me this recipe and said, oh yeah, you're going to be making gulab jamun. And I was like, what? Like, really? Or like, it's just pretend and then we'll have, something made, you can go get them from the shop or something. You've never made gulab jamun before, have you? Never. I've never made them ever again since I invited
Is it from a packet, was it? Or actually
the whole
thing
recipe, and I had to do it from scratch, and with the weighing scales and everything.
Alicia was like, Mama, let you get on with it.
Yeah.
And there's a moment you thought, Mom, I think they're burnt. You say.
They were like, the first one we tried it out, fried it and everything. It's so black, wasn't it? Jet black charred. The inside was just after.
Was it?
This didn't work. And then we got the temperature right. And they turned out so good.
They did eventually. I saw them and he actually brought them out into the shop. But so talking about the shop. No, we're going to go back to this. Look at this. The plastic covers on the sofa. So obviously you've had an upgrade on the furniture and it looks a lot more modern, I guess. And there's another brilliant one coming. Mm-hmm. And look at this one.
I had a special massage chair.
Look at you. What are you doing?
I think that was... We just arrived in the house, and you have to remember, in the previous iteration, the previous years, it was like just chairs and a mattress on the floor.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what the reality was. They didn't have the money, but as they start to become a bit more middle class, let's say,
Yeah.
a bit more residual, a bit more money, they could afford things, but they had to protect whatever they had.
Yeah.
That's why you saw 20 layers of plastic on every single item. Right?
I don't know how, but I mean, wouldn't it feel uncomfortable, that plastic?
Oh,
And
it did, yeah. I mean, I remember back, because I'm a 80s kid, but I remember back then you had plastic, and if it was a hot day, you stuck to the mattress or you stuck to the chair.
Exactly.
And if it was a cold day, it was very cold.
cold,
So,
yeah. But obviously, the furniture is such a big thing. It's expensive, and you worked hard to get it in. Last thing you want to do is ruin it. So you rather just sit on the plastic. But I don't know. It looks odd. But the only thing I remember. Oh yeah, both of you, the plastic and you. I just don't know what you're doing there. You must have some sort of
Constipation.
some sort of release going on there.
Yeah, high vibration being.
Yeah, vibration being. Yeah, I remember.
Clouds going on my head, look.
Exactly, top of your head. No, I remember remote controls were covered in plastic. I do remember that. That happened in my household too. But I don't think we had plastic on the furniture. But with us, I think we came to the country in the late 70s. So there were some families who had them. If they had like leather sort of furniture, they even had plastic on that.
In the hallway, if you remember, in the hallway you would have a plastic.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
When
Yeah.
kids come in, you had to take.
Yeah, I remember those ones. Yeah. That was nearly in everybody's household. Yeah.
The carpet as well.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have, not necessarily have a porch. You would probably be living in a terraced house. And
Yeah.
the house, when you open the front door, you're straight into the.
That's it. That makes sense.
So you have
Yeah.
the plastic.
Yeah.
On the floor, take your shoes off there.
Yeah.
So you don't do it to the carpet.
Yeah, I think every household did have the plastic. I remember that. It was the little dots ones, isn't it? Yeah, I remember them. Yeah. So now you guys are doing so well. Okay, this is just bring it back to this one. Okay, the Sharma stores.
It's bizarre because at no point, even though at no point did we think that the house was going to become a shop, did we?
Yeah.
It was, and when we came back and then we were exposed to Sharma stores, so to have something with our name in the middle of Spark Brook,
Yeah.
that is our shop with our name.
So it's the same house you were staying in, and then they quickly changed it.
They did.
So that we were living behind it. So
Okay.
The shop is
Okay.
at the front of the house.
Yeah.
And then the back of the house is where we lived. But in
Alright.
the 50s and 60s, they blocked
Blocked it off. Okay.
and blocked off all of this. We didn't know it was there. We just assumed we were in the house part. We couldn't even fathom that there was a shop there.
So they had everything ready else is part of pre-production.
Yeah.
But to keep the surprise from us as
For
well.
us, yeah.
So they
Yeah.
create fake walls and everything. So
Really?
we
You didn't even know this
There
was
was a
coming
shop.
up?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Even when they brought us in the morning, they brought us a different way so we couldn't see.
Yeah. Obviously, the shop meant you guys it brought you more recognition and self-respect than doing that job you're doing at the factory with making those empty whistles per day. And you became your own boss. But then I think it's to do with the English people. They left the corner shops because the new supermarket started at that time, didn't they? So they all wanted to go and work at the supermarket. It was probably, I don't know, they probably thought it was easier to work 9 to 5. But then you guys were left with the corner shops, all the Asians, I guess.
I think as a community, there's always that entrepreneurial spirit, right? That all Asians do have, no matter what it is. And back then it was, what can we do? We're working in these foundries for pittance, maybe lower pay than maybe our white counterparts.
Yeah.
And we're working all the human hours, and then there are these empty shops, and there's an opportunity maybe, actually probably work longer hours. Like if you look at the hours our families put into these shops, probably longer than working in the factories, but it was your own business.
Yeah.
That's the difference. You're doing it collectively as a family, and doing it.
If you're going to work hard anyway, why wouldn't you do it for yourself?
Exactly.
I think that was the logic behind it.
Yeah.
So why don't we just work this hard? Family members all joined in.
Yeah.
and then they were their own boss as well.
Exactly. And being a close-knit family, you had that support there 24/7. And I think we accepted that long hours is okay to work long hours. And I think that's where we're so different from the English people. They'll have a certain time, they will want to go to the pub, they wanted to chill out. But we just worked. And this is something that we've been ingrained with from probably our ancestors.
I think that we didn't have a choice as well.
Mm.
We had to work.
Yeah.
So it was a case of, if you want to make your life better and you want to make things better for your children, you had to work. Plus, you were still having to find a way to support your family back home and get them married as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and this is where the birth of the shops
came. Yeah, I suppose it worked in your benefit for the supermarkets to be open at that time, become popular. So the English people went there and you guys became your own boss. Because working in a supermarket, you still want to be your own boss. You would have been the employees again. You probably wouldn't have got that same privilege as the English people. So it does worked in your favour. And then obviously you had an opportunity to supply your own spices and things in the corner shops that you wouldn't have got in the supermarkets. And there's a scene in there, Akash was selling door to door all these spices.
Yeah, I was the drug dealer, the spice dealer. No, it's good. I mean, I think back then, because they didn't have that many spices, it was such a sigh of relief for especially a lot of the women who were having to do a lot of the cooking.
Yeah.
For me to come around and deliver all their spices, it was just like a weight off their shoulder type thing, and it was just a nice little...
You were much needed.
Yeah, exactly. If you got good looking men like me...
Yeah, exactly. The spice man is here knocking on the door and they'll be ready for the women. They probably got in and had a cup of tea and they gave you all these treats. Free food.
You get free drinks.
And marry our daughter, please.
Yeah, that's it.
It's got 5 wives already.
So then 1971 came the start of the Bengali restaurants. So that became really popular. And remember, it's the one with those wallpaper, the red, those.
Some of them still have.
Still have them. Remember, then the Desi pubs came for the Apani Punjabi community. And then, so having a successful business, your own business, a shop, that means you came obviously well established and you had enough money to buy yourself your first car.
It's one of those things. I think it's an evolution, isn't it? If you go back to the conversation earlier, we came with a goal, we'll earn a bit of money, go back maybe.
Yeah.
And then that became we're making good money, bring your wives over, they came over.
Yeah.
And then children came, and then suddenly your standard of living is going up.
Yeah.
And with standard of living going up, you can have got a bit more money, so you can afford some more luxuries like, you end up falling into that, you want to keep up with the Joneses as well.
Yeah.
And then if they've got a car, you want to have a car, and you can see just from that shop there, the immense pride of having a vehicle, which they weren't cheap, I can imagine.
Yeah, but you had to work so hard.
So hard.
Hours and days and nights,
People who probably got to drive half the cars because of probably the shop store.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, But then you were taking pictures, it was such a big... And I suppose you had the blessings done and all the puja and everything you have to do at that time. I can imagine why we used to do that, because it was hard work to get to that stage. But
to have a house, to have a shop, and now to have a car as well. It's status, right? It was seen as a status, but showing you are doing well.
Yeah.
No one's probably actually counted up the number of hours you've had to work to get it, but you see you're doing well.
But you were struggling getting in, weren't you, at the back? Long legs.
I couldn't get in.
Did you manage to drive it though? Did you have a go driving this?
I know Mum. I think Dad did.
Yeah.
My Mum was a passenger and I had some GoPros of them driving.
Yeah.
We discovered light before power steering.
It was really hard to drive. I did drive it and I was too scared to anyway, but he was the only one.
Literally, so steering wheel, my God.
Gosh, there we are, we're spoiled again, aren't we? We don't have those muscles to do those power steering.
That's like one thing steering, right? Or in your case, no fingers, just drive.
Remember the old Brani Gadis have that choke thing?
That's right.
I could always used to struggle with the choke, and the car always used to break down. But like I mean, the cars are so easy now as well. We're cruising life.
That was one family car between maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 2 families would be sharing that one car.
Yeah.
I think most families, everyone's got their own little runaround.
Yeah,
Right? And we
that's
don't think
right.
twice about having 2 cars or 3 cars in a family.
No.
But for them, that was seen as the prestige thing.
Oh, we didn't have the issues with the seat belts, the rules, or then we can fit as many family members in. Remember that? Even at the front with you probably have about another 2 kids with you sitting on your laps, but you can get away with it then. But no, actually, that was a big celebration, something to be proud of. There's another scene in there we really liked in the documentary was at that time the only sort of socializing you could do was to get your families to come in your front room, and you're trying to sing Avarahu.
I think I was just trying to impress my grandparents.
And your granddad's a very good singer.
Yeah, Babji's a really good singer.
Yeah.
I think they were just so used to it. Like we were like getting ready to film and everything, but for them it just felt like another day back with their friends, having some food, starting to sing, play the door or whatever it is. And yeah, you could just see that they just enjoyed little moments like that. And that's all they had back then, right? Because they didn't have no gadgets, phones. They literally lived off laughter, food and music, right?
Did you notice in their facial expressions, or did you see them glowing? Did you see them, the youthfulness come in them and they felt younger and healthier?
Yeah.
Just because their body thought that they were young again.
Well, you saw it this weekend.
Yeah.
Chat. The
That's
members
right.
of the group who just impromptu started singing. You could see the pride that they were comfortable just standing up singing a week.
And all of a sudden, there were no aches and pains, nothing going on. They felt young again. And that's what I mean, the power of music and just getting together and going back into that age. They thought they were probably in their 30s and 40s again.
Yeah.
And the body thought they were young again. So I think we should do more of these kind of things. And it's amazing. But do you think you can sing that Avarahu? Avarahu. It's a really nice song. You did try a little bit.
I tried to, yeah.
So then they had to deal with the unemployment at that time as well. That was really difficult because they had the National Front was challenging and unemployment. So even that, our families, what they went through is scary, isn't it? And we don't really have that issues that they did in that time. But
I think we do, to be honest, Dav. I think in the sense, maybe not as Asians, but in the minority communities, like, after the Asians, it was the Polish and now it's other refugees. Whenever, I say in the show, whenever a country is going through a terrible financial time, cost of living crisis, we're very quick to blame the foreigner.
Yeah.
Even though a small minority of a percentage, it's very easy to find something to blame.
Yes, right, yeah.
Back then, in the 70s and 80s, it was blame the Asians, and now it's some other, whoever it is now, whoever the flavour of the month is. And a lot of, say politicians feed off that kind of negative energy.
Absolutely, so right there, yeah. Then 1970s was also the decade where true Asians were born. It was in the 70s, wasn't it? So before that, obviously, they would have immigrated, but it's in the 70s where we can identify themselves as actually true British Asians. And I didn't realise that until I watched your documentary. That's when it happened. So, and that's when I used to watch Call the Midwife. And that's when I realised I can see the connection there. And that was really cool. So now we are going to go into the 80s, the early 80s. You think it was your episode 3. And this is when, in the 80s, it was obviously a new home now to 50,000 Asians with 2.5 million unemployed people. So many chose, like you said, to be self-employed because there's more benefits, even in that high rate of 500,000 unemployed. You had no choice really, did you? You're living on survival mode.
You have to find a way.
Yeah, to find a way. So, like I said earlier on, Asians were conditioned to work hard. So we somehow managed. We did survive. And there's more Asians became so successful because we had that ingrained in us that we have to work hard to get through this. And there's that support network we all had. So that's when you guys started having the first TV dinner, wasn't it? And then we used to have that treat once a week, the chips, homemade chips, and what was it? You used to have chips and pies and things, isn't it? Yeah.
So that kind of occurred around the sort of 80s, and that was a treat, really.
It's called a TV dinner.
TV dinner, and I think it was more a case of the food was becoming more convenient for us to eat.
Yeah.
So we would have, for us, we were talking about this when we were younger. Wednesdays used to be our English dinner day.
All right.
We'd probably have something out of the freezer, which was the pizza and chips.
Yeah.
Or a pie and chips or something, and then beans or mushy peas, that type of thing, or fish fingers and chips.
Yeah.
But that was our sort of
treat once a week.
day. Yeah, and then the other days was just roti.
But now it's the other way around, isn't it? I think we have so much choice. Rotis can be once a week now, but Bella used to be like the special treat. That used to be once a week. And like you said, we have too much choice now. And but I think English people eat more roti than we do now. You go to restaurants, it's normally they're eating all these food. And then also came the Balti became very popular in the 80s, and then came the Bhangra wave that started in obviously connecting back to our roots. I can imagine by then, by the 80s, we've been there like 30-40 years. We were really missing home, and there was that conflict becoming even the new British Asians, like, are we English or are we Indian? So having the Bhangra wave then, it came at the perfect time to connect us back to our roots. And there was also these the daytimers, okay? And I'm going to ask you, Akash, how many times did you go to a daytime again?
I was in the library all the time.
Sorry?
I was studying in the library, I don't know what you're talking about. Manisha went loads. I was a good student, didn't know what they were, to be honest.
Really?
Right, maybe I might have.
Look at Kash's face.
I might have caught a bus past one once or twice, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I think I went to 2 or 3. Was the institution, which I think I know is still there. Which is I never went to the Dome. There was a new one institution, like 3-4 floors.
Okay.
But it was.
Is that from school or college? College, yeah.
Yeah. And
You would never go. You would never have gone during a school day.
No.
I think in college you kind of had like a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
As free lessons.
That's right. That's how you could get away with it. Yeah.
You kind of went to college.
Yeah.
And then from there,
Yeah,
some
you speak
people.
from experience.
I only went once.
a week.
When's the happening? Too specific.
No, most colleges have like a Wednesday afternoon. That's
But
why.
it was.
So this is like your parents knowing?
Yeah, exactly. They didn't know.
They know, yeah, boost.
Even up to filming in their like 40s, they were still scared to say on camera that they're like, our parents are going to see this.
When we watched it back, we didn't know what the final edit was going to look like. And my dad was sitting next to me, my father-in-law and mother-in-law were in the room. We watched it together, and they kept the scene where I said, I did go. If anyone watches this, it's going to be really
The truth eventually came out.
It was your only way of connecting to the music.
Yeah, it was music and also, yeah.
I mean, everyone, I have a good friend of mine who just loved the music and would go to these gigs, and then literally next day we'd drive up to Handsworth to the tape shops and buy loads of, B21s or Sahotas, whatever it was, and that was the only way. And then obviously the gigs evolved from just being DJs to actual live musicians. So you were the presence of your idols,
Exactly,
you'd never, Upnuts and Keith, and oh my God, this is crazy, and they're going to be at that next gig. And it was probably about 5,000 people in a room of like 50 people, but a ratio of 180 men to 1.
Yeah.
But the music was brilliant, and the atmosphere.
It was brilliant atmosphere. That's right.
If we were allowed out in the evenings, you go to the Dome, but it wouldn't be
the same thing.
Music. It'd be just other,
That's right.
like Wham and Jam and all that kind of stuff. So it was a good way of connecting.
We didn't realise we had that such a deep yearning to connect back to our roots, and that's what Bhangra Wave did in the daytime as well. And I didn't really think it affected the students, their education that much, because most of the people that I know, they still became qualified in something.
Have you seen my GCSE grades?
But did you two meet ever? Did you ever go to the same ones, the daytimers, or you went to different ones?
I think
You went to a lot more than me, so what do you think?
I only ever went to one on the record, and that was because I was taken by this person over here.
College, so
Yeah.
So I went to one. It was literally millions of people in there, and
Yeah,
I think
it used
caught
to be
up in it was the fad at the time, right?
Yeah, it was,
You were
yeah.
at college with all your mates, similar age, similar cultures, and it was
Yeah.
the thing to do. And after about 3 or 4 times, you realise, God, we're like queuing like sardines to get into this thing, and we've seen them now. We'll just listen to the music on tape. But it was an experience that you had to go.
It was an
and do.
experience. I think everyone who had been had talked about it, so you kind of then have that thing about FOMO of don't want to miss out.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
So at least you could say I've been there, done that.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
And the funny thing was when we did go there, we
Yeah.
actually bumped into relatives there.
Oh yeah, you always bump into somebody.
Don't tell your mom there. Don't tell your mom.
Or your cousin, there's always somebody in the community. But what about, did you ever get changed before you used to go? Because that's what girls used to do, Alicia.
But in college it wasn't too bad because we didn't have a uniform. So
Yeah.
it was okay, you still had just your jeans and a top or
A
whatever.
little bit of makeup, a little bit of hair too. So if you guys
You
now...
asked me that question, I got changed loads.
Did you? That's true, I should have asked
Special
you.
shirts and everything for them gigs. Actually changed.
Akash did say in the documentary that if he was back in that time, you would have definitely gone. You probably would have gone all the time, you were saying.
I mean, I just go at night now.
You just-
I don't have to wait to the day.
Yeah, but it's funny, the kids did used to skip school, but obviously the parents somehow, we must have been that clever, our parents never found out.
Well,
So,
we were fortunate because we didn't have cameras on every street.
yeah,
We didn't have
Ring
social
doorbells.
media, ring doorbells,
yeah.
all of those things.
That's what I
Otherwise,
mean.
there's no way it was going to happen.
No, that's what it is. Obviously it happened during the school time, it started at 11 a.m, it's crazy. Can you imagine 11 a.m. going to a gig now? I can't imagine that. So another question I'd like to ask, the trip to the cinema. So I saw that scene that you all got dressed up, sari paapuk, and it was obviously the cinema, Regal Cinema, where I think it was Amajit Sidhu's dad, Jaswant Singh Sidhu, and he was the first one to set up a cinema. So that was an experience then, because like a community hub and everybody getting together. And actually, I just had a memory of it a few days back because I thought I had not been, and because I thought the first time I went to watch a movie in the cinema was when to watch Gandhi. But actually I realised when I was younger I did go to one. It was because my mama used to live in Dudley, so I remember they were having samosa there, and obviously those homemade samosa. So it is nice. I just think we're lucky to have that. Obviously connecting back to Bollywood and the music and romance and bringing that. Obviously we need that in this life because we're working so hard all the time. We need to just switch off, just like the population in India. And same here. It's just nice to treat ourselves. But yeah, that's a nice scene. I saw you all there looking excited, especially when you were excited more than anybody else.
I think we were excited because we hadn't at that point been allowed to go anywhere, and Alicia and I were just always at home sewing or cooking or cleaning something.
Yeah,
So for us, we were like, yeah, we're going. Yeah, we're getting dressed up.
yeah.
We're going somewhere. They've given us a coat. We don't have to be in the house. So we were just so excited. And then they'd given us Bombay mix or something to take to the cinema. Do you remember?
But everyone else in Birmingham didn't know that we'd been locked in a house and we were filming through the middle of Birmingham city centre in our saris and
Walking
flats in our
around.
hair, just like this.
That was our
Everyone was
60s,
very
wasn't it?
confused.
I bet they were. They just got off the plane, these freshies, straight from the India.
It wasn't intense. I can imagine for our parents, I can imagine them all dressing up in their suits and closing the shop maybe a bit early, and then as Amajit Baji was saying, they would walk from Wolverhampton.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't even
8 miles, you were saying, 9 miles.
I can't
Can you
even
imagine that?
that the commitment to the cause that you would walk yourself or with your family all
Yeah.
that way. And it was a social event because you would see loads of people there.
Yeah.
It almost became like a bit of a community hub.
Yeah, it was. It's so you can connect, and obviously, we Indians are so good at, we know so and so and so, so we always find some sort of connection, don't we? We always do. No one's a complete stranger in our community. So that was a brilliant thing, the cinema at that time, and I'm so glad they started it up for a lot of us because we worked hard, very hard.
It was our connection back home.
Yeah.
This was before TV. We had no idea what was really happening in India in terms of social progression and everything. And the movies, I know it's still a film and it's not real life, but that was the only connection back to what was really going on back home. You know?
So just a couple of more questions. We've done this bit. So Manisha, you did mention that in the 80s, everything for women had improved compared to the 50s, 60s, and Birmingham started to actually feel like home for all of you by the 80s.
I think so. I think by the 80s, it was the technology that had got better. So just gadgets in the house or fast foods just being available, like things that you can put in the freezer.
Yeah.
Just made life that little bit easier. Even in the house that you saw, there was a kitchen that was a bit more equipped than the basics.
Yeah.
So it just, those little things make a big difference when you've got a family, you're trying to move on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think.
Yeah, it did. But obviously your dress sense changed. You started wearing a bit of the Western clothes, and you started even doing like a part-time job. So you got away from the household chores. So you had a bit of a variation, not being stuck in the house all the time, and you had your lovely TV, and so life did come better for the ladies. And it had been tough from the 50s. You're saying working 6.5 days and just getting £4. What a massive transformation and change.
Yeah. I think for the women it still would have been quite hard, but because technology had got better, that helped.
Yeah.
However, you were still working long hours because you had the shops.
Yeah.
So you're still in the shop. So if the men were going to the cash and carry, normally the men did the cash and carry, you'd still be in the shop all day.
Yeah.
Kids might have be growing up and going to school, but you're still managing and juggling both things.
Okay.
And so most people, and even ourselves, especially like my side of the family, a lot of them, or my uncles had shops. Our house, our home, was the shop in the front room.
Okay.
And the back of the house and upstairs was our living.
Okay.
So even like we talked with my cousin, she didn't live in a house until she got married.
Oh.
Because she'd grown up in a shop.
Yeah, gosh.
We kind of left that a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
For her, she'd always lived in a shop.
Yeah.
Upstairs. So for a lot of us, it was the convenience of going downstairs. Oh,
That's it.
Need some crisps. Go get some tins of whatever. We've always had that, so we're quite used to it.
When I was little, I always wanted my mum and dad to have their own corner shop because I always wanted sweets, and I was thinking, obviously you must have been so lucky if you've got your own sweet shop, corner shop, you can help yourself to anything. But if I used to find 10 pence or even like 50 pence, oh my God, there's so much money, I can get a bag of those sweets, remember? But then obviously I always just think, I wish my mum had their own shop, It's a big thing to have a shop then.
It was a big thing, and it's exciting when it first starts. I think as Akash alluded, you get bored after a bit.
Yeah.
And that's why I think none of my cousins, ourselves, none of us wanted a shop.
Yeah.
We all went and got the career. We just wanted to go get a job because we know that our parents never had a holiday.
Yeah.
And if they did have a break, they'd really have to have somebody they really trusted to stay in the shop. So it'd be some of the family members who'd come before, stay, do everything, so that they could have a week or two in India.
Yeah.
That's the only place they ever went to.
I went to, that's it. That was their holiday, wasn't it? With the family. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? It's like you being in there, you actually realise there's more to life than this shop. And we on the outside thinking, that's luxury, that's paradise. So too much of something, actually you think you've had enough of it, you need to move on. But that's So interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Just one more question before we go into the next fun part. So if the 1970s Sharma's family could give the 2025 Sharma's family one piece of advice, what would it be?
This is the lottery numbers.
Just don't take what you have for granted.
Yeah.
Remember where you come from and hold that with you, whatever you do. Don't lose that story and the sacrifice in now. I think now we hold that with us. We operate differently in life from a different lens. And I think you need something like this and something like their stories to tell you that.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
As being 70s and 80s kids, what I would say to the 2025 us now is that, you know what, enjoy whilst you can, because those were carefree days, 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
You know, there was no, like you said, like the daytime things, there's no cameras anywhere.
Yeah.
You'd be out from morning till night, no one really cared.
No, find my iPhone.
There's no distraction of scrolling Instagrams and TikTok. It was just chill with your friends, your cousins, and that was it. And I vividly remember those days really well. So I would say is don't get too caught up on what you have now. Actually, it's when you have less, you actually enjoy more.
Yeah. There you are. You have anything else? Laugh more.
Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love.
Remember to laugh.
Exactly.
I think that's what they coped on, laughing and laughter. Because otherwise, I think you just crash in that situation.
Yeah.
Tough. They all just got together and had a laugh.
Yeah, it's you ro sakte hain, has sakte hain. So at the end of the day, it's your choice. You can cry, live, and or you can just laugh and live. But it's a choice at the end of the day, and keep laughing through it. Yeah, we've got something very fun and interesting. Everybody's gonna love it so much. So see you shortly.